is proven and documented, we will supply you with those documents. As bizarre as that is, I would say that weather wars, and this is quoting actually Senator Claiborne Pell himself, that they are the greatest weapon ever created in the world, and that's the senator's own statement. So yes, I do stand on that.
Thank you.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We know what's going on. We try to prove it every single night. They can keep on denying it, but we keep on finding the proof by their own satellite imagery. And speaking of satellite imagery, the RAM slider is not working out of the College of Colorado, which hopefully it will come back online. I think they're hiding something. Now, before we jump in, we just got a few articles that we'll be getting into, but I want to show everybody from yesterday, if you missed yesterday, before the hurricane hit the West Coast, and it was a hurricane. They can call it a bomb, cyclone, all they want, but it was actually a hurricane that we forecasted over 2 weeks ago, and also reforecasted it last Sunday. You can go back and listen. And but they have these bunker fuel operations out here, these weird, you know, billowing out lines right here. I can put an enhancement on here so they stand out. Well, there was a mass bunker fuel operation out here yesterday, the 26th, and there, I got to looking at this today. The map wasn't totally loaded. There's a whole fleet of them over here headed towards the Kamchatka Peninsula. Who are all these ships? What are they doing out here? Well, I'm going to show you here in a second. So let's go on up into today. The map's not loaded all the way up, but we can definitely see we have a couple ships down here in the low pressure zone, and hopefully this will let up a little better so that we can find them. But they're out here. Look, there's a bunch right here, which I'll try to get them pointed out. Hopefully this will be loaded a little better later in the show so that we can point them out. And what I want to show you here, you can see the bunker fuel ship operations over here. Let me stop this so I can point everything out, and then I'll run it. So right here, all these squiggly white lines. Let me see if I can zoom in. It probably won't let me zoom in too much. In fact, it's shrinking as I zoom. Instead of zooming the map, it's zooming the sidebar. That's the kind of stuff we have to deal with. But anyway, if you can see these squiggly white lines in the purple clouds, that's the bunker fuel operations. And what you're going to see is this atmospheric river, this cloud formation coming up through the Aleutian Island chain. The bunker fuel does something to it. And you can actually watch all the ships here split apart the atmospheric river, and part of it goes down, and then here's, you know, here's a bunch of ships out here spraying away, busting off a hunk. And at the same time, you have a secondary or a third bunker fuel operation down here off the coast of the Bajas. But what they're doing, they're splitting these systems and then targeting certain areas, just like they did with the Paradise Fire. Now, why they're calling this a bomb cyclone? Because of the pressures. But when you take a look at this, and we looked at the wind speeds last night, it met all the thresholds to be a hurricane. You had almost 30-foot waves, 80-mile-an-hour winds. In fact, we could look at the winds. And, you know, just like the very first hurricane of the year, Hurricane Barry. They called that a hurricane, and that thing formed in Tennessee. It never went into the tropics. It wasn't a subtropical, it wasn't a tropical anything. It wasn't even a hurricane. Then we had Dorian, the man-made weapon, the wind weapon. That's what we're seeing right now. But we'll get into these maps just a little bit later. It looks like the live is on a different live stream. Like, I don't know, it's not even going right now, so I don't even know how to get to the YouTube. Is doing some funky stuff with the live streams here. Let me see if I can get to the YouTube page and see if it's streaming, because I know we had a bunch of people waiting in chat, and I just looked up and it wasn't going. But we do have, it looks like 600 people over here in the right chat. And thanks out there, super chat. I couldn't see anybody out there. Thanks out there, Mandy and Sandra. And then thanks D&D. It looks like we are streaming to D Live. We're streaming over to Twitch. We're streaming over to the Above Ground page on Facebook. I think we're streaming to Periscope. I think we're streaming to the new Float app, or the Float page, and also on the backup channel. So it looks like we got a few people over on the backup channel. So we're going to give this a whirl, and hopefully I can get it worked out what is going on with YouTube. They changed where you can go live at, and it's a random stream key. So my restreamer, I can't figure out how to change the stream key in there, so it's just making a random post on YouTube. So hopefully I can get it worked out here in the next couple days. And now I got to find the broadcaster. We have 12 days left. It looks like 1 hour, 19 minutes till the YouTube purge. So check this out. This is a video coming out of Japan. Look at these weird hats they're putting on, preparing for an earthquake. So there's some kind of it's an exercise where they're preparing for a earthquake. Look at these. These are actually look like tinfoil hats, but they're, I guess, to keep debris from falling on their head. It's a foldable helmet. Pretty crazy. What are they preparing for? They know something's coming. So look at all these guys doing the plastic helmet. Here, I'll post this link in the chat if you guys want to watch that. I'll post it in the YouTube chat here. All right. So we have the Santa Barbara warns of mudslides, evacuations as the storm approaches the cave fire. This is actually from yesterday. The Cal fire was estimated to be about 4,000 acres, but there was something. Oh, here it is. Debris flow evacuation warning issued tonight. That was on yesterday, last night. The area between Patterson and Los Podius Road, I don't know how to say all that, El Camino, whatever. But when I was looking at this, I end up coming up with another link. And here's the press release from November 7, 2019. So they're going to have a community invited to the winter storm preparedness and debris flow risk map informational meeting. Now they're going to be unveiling a map that shows where there might be a debris flow from the melting snow and all that stuff. So let's see here, we'll read on this. So the meeting is scheduled to begin at 5:30 p.m. Thursday, December 5th at the Montecito Union School in Santa Barbara. The meeting will be streamed live also on this link. Here, I'll post this in the chat too, so you guys got this link. The purpose of the community meeting is to publicly release the interactive debris flow risk map that identifies properties in the communities that may be a risk for a debris flow or flooding this storm season. The map will be utilized by the local emergency managers to determine what portions of the community will be evacuated if necessary this winter. The risk map is the process of being updated to include the most up-to-date scientific research and data gathered following the Thomas Fire and the 1/9 debris flow. If a storm is forecasted that may cause a debris flow, the risk area will be evacuated. In the event of a rapidly developing storm with little to no warning, residents living in the risk areas should have a plan to protect themselves and their family if it's not safe to evacuate. So I tried to bring up the map. This isn't actually that map, or it may be, but it's not up to date. I'll take you to all the pages here that I was looking at, and I can't remember if this was the flood map or what the heck it was, but they have the actual map. Here's the evacuation map from the cave fire, and that might be where I got this link. You know, they're already preparing. You know, you're getting your power shut off from the fires, floods. Now they're preparing for something to happen this winter. You know, we've seen all the earthquake information and preparedness plans coming up for the earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis. I mean, they know something's going to happen on the West Coast. And of course, you know, they'll be taking the land. They'll be, you know, putting in the railway system. I guess this was a flood map from the cave, or the evacuation incident map here from the cave fire. But there's several maps that you can get from the couple links that I shared out there, and I will try to put these into the description here. Let me see, I spent more time just trying to get the stream loaded than I did on show prep. It's like every night I have to waste a bunch of time to try to get the stream going. I even did a test stream and I couldn't even find out where it went. So they're just making it harder. And who knows, you know, after the 10th, that we may not even be able to stream here anymore. So make sure you subscribe to all the backup channels and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to save all these links. See, here's the actual map for the current and future events. They have it closed down. They don't want it up yet. Okay, let me save this. You guys got to bear with me tonight, guys. I spent so much time with all this crap. It got me behind on getting ready. So hopefully I shared that link. Okay, you guys got all these links if you guys want to look into all this stuff that they're preparing for. That way you'll be prepared. Looks like the Pacific Gas, they even got them on here. All right, check this out. In Victoria, down in Australia, $650 million in the brush fire prevention technology could actually be starting fires. So the experts are warning that Victoria is set to spend $650 million on bushfire prevention technology that could pose a fire risk, an expert says. Electrical safety expert Bill Carman has warned that Victoria's rapid earth fault current limiter rollout, which was quadrupled in cost, will not control all the risks associated with the power lines starting bushfires and could potentially create other serious electrical faults. Well, they did a bunch of tests on this new technology. 259 of the tests were carried out. South Electrical Substation for the Powerline Bushfire Safety Program shows that at least 80 of those tests were excluded from the results because they were set up or were ruled invalid for some other reason. 217 of the tests had multiple faults. So this kind of sounds like, you know, the stuff PG&E is doing, except for this is down in Australia. It's all the same thing. It's going on everywhere in every country. So instead of measuring in inches, you know, this winter, we're going to be measuring in feet of snow. So they're thinking 6 feet of snow could be coming to Colorado. You know, we showed you here this next storm coming up could drop, you know, 90 inches in the mountains of California, over 110 inches up, way up above Washington, up in BC. So just some, we see all the weather modification going on. They're going to blame this on the climate crisis and all the fake Al Gore stuff. I didn't really get to look into this explosion that happened down in Texas. Maybe I'll take a look at that tomorrow. Now, this come out, I might have covered this before, but Agent Orange wasn't the only deadly chemical used in Vietnam. The rainbow herbicides left a lethal legacy. While Agent Orange may be the most well-known chemical used during the Vietnam War, it wasn't the only one. An entire rainbow of new chemical formations rained down on the Vietnam's forests and fields. The rainbow herbicides, as they were known, were only used as weapons in the war for a little over a decade, but their consequences can still be felt today. The chemicals were deployed as part of Operation Ranch Hand, a military operation that lasted from 1962 to 1971. Ranch Hand's unofficial motto, "Only you can prevent a forest rifted off of Smokey Bear's plea to the people. Prevent forest fires." The sarcasm of the phrase sums up the irony of the mission. Controversial then and now, it's still not clear whether Operation Ranch Hand, a form of chemical warfare, was ever permitted under international law. Herbicidal warfare had been a military dream since the 1940s. Researchers began to brainstorm ways to use chemicals to scorch the earth. Well, they're doing it now. They're doing it in our skies right now. They have been doing it. They've done it, and they will never stop. We've seen what they did to the people in St. Louis with the radiation experiments. We've seen what they did with the poison fog off the coast of California, the lithium spraying over Oregon. I mean, the tests go on and on. And then you got the mad scientists out there. Scientists admit flawed experiment may have created super mosquitoes. So a team of scientists revealed an experiment that released millions of genetically modified mosquitoes into the wild to curb the populations of disease-carrying mosquitoes. Well, it has backfired. A study revealed the genetic traits of the super mosquitoes have been passed on to native species. Over the course of more than 2 years, British biotech firm Wxxx released 450,000 genetically altered male mosquitoes every week in the city in Brazil. Before they were released, the mosquitoes were transgenically modified to carry a lethal gene designed to reduce the population of the native species. This experiment was carried out in response to the city's growing issue of mosquito-borne diseases, ones they created, such as the yellow fever, Zika, dengue, and all the other ones. I mean, we are in the matrix. So pretty crazy stuff. So we have all these, genetically modified bugs going around, infecting other bugs, and it continues. The mad scientists continue to do their crazy stuff. And I don't even know what this article is. This is like something I will cover some other time. And what is this? Defense against toxic weapons. What is this? Defense against toxic weapons here. The purpose of this manual is to provide basic information on biological toxin to military leaders and healthcare providers at all levels to help them make informed decisions on protecting the troops from toxins. I'm not quite sure where I even got this PDF file, but this is something I'm going to definitely look into here. I think this is super long, so I'll look into that. Here, I'll go ahead and copy that link, and then we'll paste that into the chat. So 9 hours ago, large explosion rocks Texas chemical plant sent a large fireball into the sky, reports and witnesses said, triggering a mandatory evacuation. Now, I did see a couple of videos, man, of the large blast. I guess it blew out tons of windows. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this yet. I didn't get time to look into it. You guys probably all know much more than I do about it. But we'll look into that. I think I'm not going to go into that right now about the re-education camps. But I will save the links. I'll put all these links, even the ones I don't go over, into the, I think I'll pin them in the comments here at the end. All right, so here we go. Bomb cyclone shattered records as it slammed the West Coast on Tuesday, including a 106-mile-an-hour wind gust. The storm set records for the lowest sea level air pressure ever observed in California. Unprecedented bomb cyclone. It was a hurricane. You know, why don't they call them what they are? Marching ashore with winds clocked at hurricane force because it was a hurricane. The storm that pounded the Pacific coast intensified at nearly twice the rate of a bomb cyclone. That's because it was done by man. It was modified. So sustained 85-mile-an-hour winds were measured. That's almost a Category 2 hurricane. In fact, Category 2 is 96 to 110 miles an hour. So, you know, if you had gusts up to 106, that's pretty much a Category 2. The extreme winds appear to have been most potent at the leading edge of the warm seclusion. In essence, the storm got so wrapped up that it pinched off a lobe of warm air that became detached from the main warm sector. Boy, they really go at lengths to come up with excuses of what they did. Meanwhile, a potential steam jet, another made-up term, another zone of intense winds may have formed on the southwest side of the system. You mean where we've seen the monster bunker fuel operations in the south part? You had the big old long, huge smoke curtains coming out of it. Oh, they're calling it a rope cloud. So they're going to come up with the term the rope cloud, stretching hundreds of miles over the eastern Pacific. Rope clouds can be used to detect the cold front position. You know, all BS. This is all just propaganda crap. We know what really happened. We watched it. We documented it. All right, let me see if the RAV slider has loaded up yet. See if it will. Nope. It's not going to go. It's like something's going on with the RAM slider out of the Colorado state. Maybe it's snowed up. Maybe it's snowed in. Now, I'm not sure if this will show us. I really want to try to catch the bunker fuel operations. That really sucks that the RAM slider isn't working, because I want to see what's going on up here around the Aleutian Island chain and the Kamchatka Peninsula. Which should, yeah, this isn't going to be clear enough for me to zoom in on that. So that's not going to work. We do have this one, which we showed at the beginning, the bunker fuel operations there, down here, and out here. And then they pinch off right where all the heavy ship tracks are being deployed. It pinches off the atmospheric river. In fact, we need to go look at the Mimic to see if we can see any kind of disturbances from the microwave imagery. We have Typhoon Kamura. That's what I told you, man. I knew they were going to create this typhoon. They just fabricate these out by Guam. all day long. They'll start them out, you know, by the atoll islands, spin them up. It's just like practice for them. So here we are. We're looking at the atmospheric rivers up in the troposphere, stratosphere, way up there. And I'm just trying to watch this to see. We did get a little bit of a pulse right there. Doesn't look like a stitching error. So the bunker fuel ships were all right in the edge of that. Then you also had an operation down there, and then you got another operation over here by Kamchatka. So this one really isn't showing me a whole lot, so we'll jump into the worldview map. I also want to check the radars. Just see what the radars show for the last 24 hours. Oh, let me get it. Well, I guess we could go right here for now. See if that'll load up. See what we can see in the red channel. Oh wow, you can see the bunker fuel ships out there in the red channel even. See if I can see them today. I mean, that's so blatant how many of them are out there. I mean, that's just like crisscrossing patterns with the ships. Let me try to take a picture and then screen capture this picture, and then we'll zoom it into the I'll try to save it here where we can look at it through the browser. I don't know if it'll let me here. Dang it. Yes. Hold on here. Let me see if I can get it into the browser. Man, you gotta move it like to 10 different things to get the picture where we can see it. So now I can probably zoom in on it, which is gonna get probably blurry. But I mean, I can't even count how many of these ships are out here. It's just a lot. It's tons. Let's go ahead and put this over on the east side so we'll be able to see the aerosols being deployed from the skies. While we're waiting on that to load, get rid of that. Let's go ahead and check out the worldview map. So here's the ships today. You still got quite a few ships out here right in this zone. They're spraying into that low pressure. And then you got a bunch of ships over here, like a bunch of ships. I mean, they're not coming in real strong, but the more this satellite loads, this is where they're at. So you have a fleet there, a fleet here. And I can't tell right now if that fleet's down there off the Bajas. I mean, I do see a little bit of something there, but we're just going to wait for the maps to load up a little better. What is this cloud? What is that toxic looking thing? So that is pretty strange. We got frequencies in the clouds. We have a big old aerosol to go along with the frequencies. Let me see if that'll, what I do when I change the layer. It may just because this stuff is not all the way loaded. Man, I don't know, that's some weird looking cloud right there. Alright, let me put the fire layer on just so we can see if we have any fires going on, or did they get all put out. So we still have a few fires in California. One looks like south of Chico, I mean, and one northwest of Chico. Nothing big though, everything's quieted down on the fire front, at least for California. And they're engineering this next system. Oh yeah, that's pure fabrication right here. They're pulling all this moisture up with the aerosols being deployed. All this gray looking, they want to call these cirrus cloud, but these cirrus clouds are made by the jet trails. And then you mix in the bunker fuel on top of it, and you get the toxic soup. Turn on the wind weapon. Just going back to yesterday, I wanted to look at something here. Just back this way out. I know I'm moving around a lot, but I'm just trying to look at some stuff here. So right now it looks like we're seeing a pretty good operation over Florida again. Florida's the target again. So if you're living on the west side of Florida, you're seeing gigantic X's in your sky. So heavy aerosols over Florida, over the Bahamas again. If you're on vacation, you're getting waxed. I mean, they are just lighting up the sky out here big time. I think yesterday this was the same target zone. Yeah, yesterday we had this real drippy looking aerosols being deployed. Look how fast they were being drifted out. And then today we back out a little bit, and they're just a little, they're out here everywhere today. Trying to find a good layer to really pull them out. I mean, you could see them really good, but you got 5 and 6 planes side by side by side. That's military. So just a huge bombardment of the skies out here up the coast of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. And of course you have all the aerosols being deployed into all these weather systems. We don't know what a normal storm is anymore because they're all affected by ground-based operations, sky-based, ocean-based. We got a weird spraying operation up here over Nova Scotia and Maine. We try to click some of these layers. Yeah, see, wherever they spray, they pull the patterns in. They pull the clouds in. That almost looks like a bunker fuel, but no, that's an aerosol. Alright, let me just get this on one layer at least. Look at all the fires going on in Brazil, Argentina. They get the same weather modification down here. They also get the ship tracks. Flooding going on in the Congo. They don't talk a whole lot about that. Storm after storm hitting France. Look at the elevation change in these clouds, man. Another engineered storm. Headed towards France and the UK. I mean, they've been getting waxed with the aerosols day after day. We can see they're bombarding Italy right now. They're getting just creamed with aerosols. I mean, this is a toxic soup mess over here. Trying to find a layer to pull that out a little better. Look, so just a few planes, if you can see that. You got like 4 liners. But then when you go back in time, when the initial spraying started, like here, then you can see the drifting aerosols. You know, they're flying 3 side by side by side. These are military aircraft, military drones. big X's in the sky. So Italy is just getting their sky completely wiped out by the aerosols. And all the way over into the Adriatic Sea, up into Bosnia. So you just got a mass spraying operation going on. We got some more aerosols beginning out in the Mediterranean Sea. There's that same huge deployment up here has been going on for day after day after day. You know, now it's a little farther south of Moscow. But I think they created all this snow, that crazy looking cloud formation the other day. In fact, we could back it up to see if that snow was there. It wasn't there. So it looks like this crazy looking pile of stuff here. Let me go back all the way back to the day before. So this is back on the 24th. This is when the biggest spraying operation on Earth was going on over Moscow. Just ton. I mean, this is a massive spraying operation right here. Now watch as we go up. So that thing goes right on over. No snow on the ground. No snow yet. And then all of a sudden the whole place, that's all snow right there. So they ice nucleated the clouds, and now it's just a big area of snow on the ground. And then they're spraying it again, so I guess they're going to pile it up. And here's our typhoon that's going on. So it went south of Guam. Guarantee they fabricated it from Guam. In fact, we'll look at their radars. Big spraying operation north of Papua New Guinea. We also had bunker fuel going on out here a couple days ago. So mass spraying operation right there. Let's go check New Zealand and Australia. Wow, we got the frequencies going on big time over here. Microwave clouds and chemtrails. Yeah, it could be a ski resort. Didn't think about that. So look at all these microwaves. They call these gravity wave clouds, but that's not what they are. These things are microwave clouds. Looks like the fire smoke is actually looking much, much better today. Or it's just not very windy, you know, and it's just kind of piling up in that one spot. There's some new big fires going on down here in Australia. We showed you the map of the new bullet train, the new high-speed rail. Follows all these fires perfectly. Just like California. So we have a big X. Or actually, two of them are fake clouds, one of them are real clouds. Somebody was headed down to Antarctica and we just caught them. So you do have some heavy aerosols. It looks like they're trying to create something out here in the Tasmanian Sea. I know yesterday, day before, we had tons of aerosols down here in southern Australia. So they must be reloading the planes. Yeah, there's them big two, the big two lines, man. Them aren't them, whatever the meteorologist, this is fabricated right there. That was from yesterday. That's fabricated. Look at steel. Let me see if it ever got loaded all the way. It wasn't even there. Oh, it's way down here. So finally get to see the fully loaded map. So just mind-blowing bunker fuel operation out here. And I didn't even see these out here, these ships, yesterday. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. At least 13 ships out here. All headed for Kamchatka on top of all these ships. On top of all these ships, and then you had all the ships down here. You had ships all down here. There's a whole slew of them down here. And that's straight out off the coast of the Bajas. Almost straight out from San Diego. That was yesterday's. Let's just go see if it's loaded anymore for today. Starting to load. Oh, here they are. Here's the grid, starting the grid patterns of bunker fuel. They're just way out here. More towards the Kamchatka Peninsula. Let's see if they're down here. Yeah, it's just not coming in clear enough yet. Let's go ahead and check the earth null. All right, so we get that off here. See, we know the bunker fuels ships are right there, so they're getting ready. They're planning for the next system. Here comes that storm that's going to dump a bunch of moisture up in Alaska to British Columbia and all that place up there. Let's go ahead and check the ocean waves. Yeah, that was another thing yesterday. Look at the waves that were coming in. 38.6 foot waves were hitting the west coast. They called it a bomb cyclone. I think it was a hurricane. Let's check out the sea surface temperature anomalies. So we got the blob is back. We got this big heating event out here right off the coast, right straight out from where the so-called alleged bomb cyclone hit. Look how cold the water is right there. All the hot water's out here, and it's actually cooled down tons up here in the Arctic. You know, this was really roasting hot up there, and it looks like they cooled it down. Not seeing any kind of El Nino formation. Let's check out the actual sea surface temperatures. You know, the ocean is cooling. This used to be a super hot, big old blob. And now look, there's no hot water. How can they say the planet is warming? The whole ocean is cooling off. In fact, there's really just a small area of hot water. Let's go ahead and check some of the air qualities. So you would think with all the wind and all the moisture, you know, the air quality would be good, but no. Here's from that fire, the cave fire. Looks like you got a fire here off the coast of Oregon or Washington, probably Northern California. Let's see if I can kind of figure that out. Wow, it's not showing on the map. We don't have any hot spots up here till you get way up into Vancouver. Just some two little spots. So I don't know what's causing the high carbon monoxide concentrations. Perfect circle too, that's pretty weird. And we still got pretty high levels there east of or west of Boston area. So it's still pretty nasty here, but probably nothing like China and India. Here's where the air pollution is. You want to combat climate change? Hey, get these guys to plant more trees. Plant more trees to filter the air. Try to keep the people alive. Ooh, we got a lot of carbon dioxide concentration up here going into Maine and Massachusetts, New York. Like, I don't even know if I've ever seen it the blue color. We're at 488 parts per million volume. Really high amount there. That's higher than China. That's higher than China or India. So it always seems like the upper northeast is always pretty toxic air. Here's our dust. There's so much dust that blew off this year. There's hardly any dust coming off the Saharas now. It's already blew over our way. Yeah, a little plant food for you. Ooh, we must have a volcano or a fire going off up here in the Aleutian Island chains. That looks more like volcanic. Some of this is fire, some of this is fracking, some of this is volcanic. That's a fire. That's a volcano. Let's go check Australia on this map. So you still got quite a bit of toxic stuff coming there off their east coast and over here on the west. Man, India's pretty horrible right now. All right, pretty good with that. Let's go ahead and see if this is loaded up. And we'll check this out. Yeah, we could go try to find the explosion. Like I said, I didn't get to look at... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That sucks. I didn't get to look at all that detail because I got just trying to get the stream going. I wasted tons of time. But yeah, we'll try to pull that up on the radars. We'll see if we can pull that up. Yeah, for, you know, use super good filters in your house, on your furnace. Have a bunch of indoor plants. You know, anything you can do. Have probably a humidifier might help knock some of that out of the air. Whoa, we've seen some weird stuff going on there. So really, it looks like the biggest spraying operations in the Gulf of Mexico over Florida, and then out here in the Atlantic. Super grids of the sky. So let's try to zoom in on Texas and see if we can see any of the explosion stuff. Hopefully that'll get us there. Oh wow, so the backup channel froze up. Yeah, they probably won't like me streaming to both channels, but hey, does it really matter? Wow. So I haven't seen the explosion yet, but man, they're bombarding this place. Heavy aerosols. Let me find out exactly where that explosion was. And And then that'll give me a better look at where to look. Hold on, I gotta turn this, Alright, so where was this? Near Port Neches. So let's find out exactly where this is, and then we'll zoom in on the radar, the closest radar to it. Whoa, what are they showing in that picture? Is that a Nexrad right there? Or a water tower? So this is by Beaumont, Texas. Alright, so this is pretty far east of Galveston. Let's just click on that, see what it says. 3 workers injured. Residents of 4 towns were told to evacuate after explosion. So another chemical plant, toxic flume of smoke. Yeah, we'll definitely look into this. So that's going to be, try to get my bearings here. Just by that lake right there. There's the big lake. So I'm going to be even more east. It'll be over in here. Yeah, so there's the border. So yeah, there's the bigger part. Alright, so it should be right in there. So let's just see if we see it on the cirrus layer by any chance. Oh, is that it? Alright, so I'm just watching here. I'm trying to see if I see anything. If you guys see it, let me know. Man, there's some weird, almost looks like hole punch clouds. To me, that looked more like an explosion there, but we can check the radars there. Let's try the natural fire layer. That could bring up the hot spot. Yeah, I remember we reported on explosion last year somewhere down around this area. So it would have had to have happened. Let me make sure I'm looking in the right spot. Yeah, so there's that weird section right there. That would be this weird section, so it has to be right in there. Let me zoom in like real far as I can zoom, which will be this one. Yeah, so we should be able to see it if we're gonna pick it up on this. I mean, we'll just have to keep trying the layers till we find it. What time did that happen? So what time did it happen? 12 hours ago. So 1 a.m. local time. So around 1 a.m. local time. So 1 a.m. I don't know what 1 a.m. Does anybody know what 1 a.m. what UTC time is 1 a.m.? So that'd be at night. I think it's right there. I think I do see it. Yep, there it is. We can see it. We can see the flume is drifting backwards. There's a black flume just pouring out right there. Wish I could zoom in on this more. Now that, if there's a radar right there, we're definitely going to be able to pick that up. So there's a black flume of smoke. Right there. There it is. We found it. So I wonder if I can pull this up better with the, try the air mass. Now that I know exactly where it is. So I can see I can definitely see the smoke flume. And it's not coming on that map, so that didn't work. We'll try the microphysics. Then we'll jump into some radars. Alright, so right where my mouse is, there's a square right there. That's picking up the heat. And it's not really showing the flume on this. So far the best one was, we'll try the natural color, but the natural color fire is where I actually seeing the flume. Yeah, you can see the flume right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's my mouse right there, and here's where it's drifting out. It's just a black line of smoke right there. You can see it waving in the wind. What's crazy is the smoke is going the opposite way of the clouds. That is burning and blowing straight, kind of a southwest, while all the clouds are moving different directions. So that's pretty weird in itself. So definitely can see it. Man, this sucks. This is probably why the RAM slider isn't working. Still not working. Alright, let me see if we can pick this up on the radars. So at least, you know, at least that toxic smoke is kind of blowing off the coast and not all over, you know, everywhere. But it is getting filtered up through the clouds. I might even have to use the Louisiana radar or the Mississippi radar. That's where I'm going to try to start off first. Yeah, it should be coming out right in here where my mouse is. Let me load up 200 frames. We'll zoom in on this thing too. Well, it won't let me zoom yet. There was the puff. There's the explosion. Get this centered up for you guys. Right there. Here's the flumes right there. Right where I'm making that circle happen. See, the clouds are all moving the opposite ways. Right where my mouse is, you'll see the two explosions. First explosion, second explosion, and then the flume was going straight out that way. I was trying to pick it up with a different. We'll see if it shows up on the base velocity. Happy Thanksgiving out there to everybody. Oh yeah, you can see the flume. I'll zoom in on it. So there's the flume right there. The red. It'll come out in red. And here it cycles through. Boom, there it is. That's where it was right there. It's weird that the smoke is going the wrong way of the clouds. Thanks out there, Rhonda. You too. Everybody out there. Oh yeah, I wanted to report on that. The birds shutting down the White House. I gotta find that article. That's funny. You can see it pretty good on this one too. And it comes out in the red. Right there. It goes pretty quick, man. You know, that's why when we like the Paradise fires. That's why we don't just depend on one little flash of light. You know, we go to different layers, different, you know, because you'll find different pieces of evidence to show something happened. It's a perfect example what to look for if there's an explosion. See, we know this is an explosion. And now when we see fires, oh wow, that even showed up in red and all kinds of weird colors. Let that go through. Right there. Then it turns into gray. Yeah, there it is. Now we can see it in the turquoise. I'll zoom in on that. Guess I gotta wait for it to load. So there it is. There's the first puff. It looks like there's like 3 explosions. So there was 1, 2. It almost seems like there's like 4 explosions in the same area. So there's the first one. Here's the second one. And then you get 2 more. There's third and fourth one. So wow, there was more than 1 explosion. Let's see what this would look like on the visible. I might pull it out. Alright, here. Yeah, you can see the black smoke. It don't come out real good, but you can definitely see it. I wish I could zoom in more. I don't think that'll... Yeah, that's not going to help me. What else could we do here? We could do... Try true color. Just see what it looks like. Yeah, it's just like a black flume, man. Right there. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a show. I want to thank everybody that comes in here and joins us and supports us and shares the information out. We'll keep trying to expose all this stuff. We'll keep trying to find different platforms so that we can keep going. Go ahead and take a big look at this. Anyway guys, much love out there, and we'll try to, hopefully I'll get the stream off tomorrow where I don't have to mess with it so much, so I can dig up some more goodies for us, some more truth bombs. Anyway guys, much love, armor up, be safe. We're gonna have to rise soon. Just watch what's going on in other countries. Watch what the protesters are doing. Watch how they're getting around things. Anyway guys, much love. Here we go.